Welcome back. I am Vishwanath Amiraju. We are here with another video on AWS service. The only prerequisite for this is an AWS account. If you are new to AWS and you don't have an account, then you can refer to the AWS SQS video where at the start I have created AWS account and explaining it step by step. Video link is mentioned in the description as well for reference. The concepts that we will be mainly covering today are how to create and configure the AWS bucket, upload the objects, view the objects, organize the objects, delete the objects, and delete the bucket. In today's topic, Amazon Simple Storage Service or Amazon S3 or S3 is an object storage service that offers industry-leading scalability, data availability, security, and performances. Customers of all sizes and industries can use Amazon S3 to store and protect any amount of data for any range of use cases. Amazon S3 provides management features so that you can optimize, organize, configure access to your data to meet your specific business, organizational, and compliance needs. In order to understand better, we need to understand the terminologies first. The main terminologies are bucket, region, S3 versioning, access control, access points, version ID, bucket policies, objects, and keys. Let's go one by one. When it comes to the bucket name, the bucket is a container for objects that are stored on S3. You can store any number of objects in a bucket and that can be up to 100 buckets in your account. Region. You can choose the geographical AWS regions where Amazon S3 stores the buckets that you create. You might choose a region to optimize latency, minimize cost to address the regulations. S3 versioning. You can use S3 versioning to keep multiple variants of objects in the same bucket. With the S3 versioning, you can preserve, retrieve, restore every version of every object stored in your bucket. You can easily recover from both unintended user action and application failure. Access points. S3 access points are named network endpoints with dedicated access policies that describes how data can be accessed using those endpoints. Access points are attached to buckets that you can use to perform S3 object operations such as get object, put objects, etc. Version ID. When you enable S3 versioning in the bucket, Amazon S3 generates a unique version ID for each object added to the bucket. Objects that are already existing in the bucket at the time you enable the version ID will have a value of null. And bucket policy. A bucket policy is a resource-based AWS identity and access management policy that you can use to grant access permissions to your buckets and objects within it. Only the bucket owner can associate a policy with a bucket. The permissions attached to the bucket applies to all the objects in the bucket. Objects. These are the fundamental entities stored in the Amazon S3. Objects consists of object data and metadata. The metadata is said to have a key value pairs that describes the objects. These pairs include some default metadata such as the date it's been modified or created or standard HTTP metadata such as content type. Keys. An object key or the key name is a unique identifier of an object within a bucket. Every object in a bucket can exactly have only one key. The combination of bucket, object key, and optionally the version ID will help uniquely to identify each object. So you can think of Amazon S3 as a basic data map between bucket, key plus version. With this knowledge, we will quickly navigate to the UI and we will create a bucket, and we will also create objects, and we'll see how these things can be done on the UI. I have logged on to Amazon AWS account and I have searched for Amazon S3. So once you navigate to this screen, you can click on bucket and you can provide the bucket name. I have provided the bucket name and I'm choosing the region which is very close to the place that I stay. And optionally, we can provide the ACL. For now, I have disabled the ACL. It is not recommended to enable the public access unless there is a business use case. And hence, I have left the settings by default. Bucket versioning, for the purpose of demonstration, no, I have just disabled the bucket versioning too. And tags, it is always recommended to enable the tags so that you can uniquely identify the costs those are associated to the project or a module, and in that way it is easy to segregate the costs when trying to maintain the billings related to those resources. And encryption, always AWS accounts by default automatically applies the server side encryption. So I'm also leaving these options by default and I'm just clicking on this create bucket. It takes like 1 or 2 minutes to create a bucket once the details of the name is right. It has a limitations on the name where it should be a unique name. That means if someone has already created this name, then you will not be able to use the same name. Once a bucket is created, we can navigate the details of the bucket by looking into the various properties of the buckets, and we can see like we can enable or disable the versions even after the bucket is being created, and also we can create the tags. Likewise, we can modify the permissions of the buckets, those are associated to it. We can add the policies on the existing buckets, and if required, and optionally we can modify the access control list uh, that was present in the bucket, and also the access points. If you want to enable any endpoints, access to those endpoints, we can create the endpoints uh, over here. So for now, what we will be doing is we will be going back to our bucket, and what we will be uh, creating is we will be selecting the bucket that we have created and we will upload the files to it. The way how we can upload the files is by clicking on the upload button. So if you click on the upload, it gives you this screen where you have a facility to upload files. For now, I'll be uploading the files. Those are there in my desktop where I'll be saying as a welcome test, and also I'll also be adding one more file which is a hello test, and I'll click on upload. Once the upload button is being clicked, we can see that the data that we are trying to upload is now succeeded. Once we close it, if you want to organize this to a separate folder, we can also do that by initially creating a folder, and we can provide the name of the folder where I'll say as a test files. You can, there is no restriction on the extension of the files that you are trying to upload. You can upload any files of any format, and if you want to perform some actions on this particular files, you can click on actions where we are trying to move these files to a drive that what we have created, and that folder that we have created is a test file. So I'm trying to select that as a choose, and once we located for it, we can say as a move. In this way, we have created the files, we have created the folders, we have organized the files, and we can also see that those files what we have created is existing inside this folders. The way in which we can access those files, these particular files, is those can be accessed even by object URLs, and also we can provide that for a limited time with a shared privileges. For example, if I want to expose this only for 10 minutes, what I can do is I can create a pre-assigned URL where I can get this URL, and I will be able to paste it in a new browser window, and I can click on enter. Once I see this, because it is only existing for next 10 minutes, the content of this will be visible. In that way, I'll be able to access the content of the files. And next one is the deleting the data, or now we have created the bucket, and if we want to delete the bucket, the way in which we can do is not by clicking on the delete. If we click on delete, we can only delete the empty buckets. So we get an option saying like the bucket is not empty, and hence we have also another functionality called as emptying the bucket. The way how we can do is by selecting the bucket and by clicking on the empty and then mentioning that it has to be deleted permanently. I'm a bit lazy, so copy pasting the details. And once that is been done, now the bucket is empty where you see there is no data. So now what you can do is you can select this and then you can say as a delete bucket, where you can mention like this bucket name, and you can provide this details. In this way, we are able to successfully create a bucket and create a files, organize those files, and provide the access, and able to delete this. Now, this is being done from the UI or the AWS console. Let's see the same using a Spring Boot web application, where we can write the Java code to do to create the bucket or buckets, where we can add the files, remove the files, and also purge the buckets and expose them as an endpoints, and also create a program to test these functionalities as well. Without any delay, let's get started. In order to start with that, we will be going to the spring.io or to the initializer, which I have a shortcut on my desktop. So we have logged on to the start.spring.io, where we will be choosing like Maven and Java, and we will be choosing 3.1.0. At the time of recording, this is the latest, and we will be giving the group name, and we will be giving the demo as a S3 demo. We can just make it as a S3 demo, and we can also mention it is going to be a Java 17. This is a LTS version, and the next LTS version is Java 21. So I'm leaving that as it is. And in terms of the dependencies, I'm going to add like a Lambok dependencies alone, and all I'm going to generate it, and I'll be opening like this project, extracting this project and importing it to my IDE. So I'll be clicking on this and I'll be saying as an extract all. That gets extracted to this location, and once this is extracted, I'll be importing this back to my IDE. So I'll be copying the path, and now I'll be going to my IDE, and then I'll be saying that as a path, and I'll be importing it over here. And once I click it, it always gives this trust the project. You can click on trust, and then that's get imported. So once the project is imported, you can go to the pom.xml where you have to add the dependencies. So what we will be doing is we'll be copying one of the dependencies, and then we will be editing it, or you can just type as a dependency that will give you the default option. Over here we will be mentioning, like, because we are looking for SDKs from Amazon, we will be mentioning as com.amazon Amazon AWS, and we are looking for S3 dependency. Uh, and you can optionally make this as a release version, that will makes no, if there are further changes, then it automatically picks the release version, whichever is the release version. And along with this, because we are trying to deal with the files inside the Apache dependency, we have one easy thing to copy the file. So that's the reason I'm trying to use like comments from IO package, where I'm trying to take the artifact as well as a common, and the version that I'm the latest version is 11.0.2, and also you can use this as a release if you are not bothered about the latest or the outdated versions. So it is always recommended to use the release. And once the changes are being complete, you can run the Maven command by Maven clean install. And also you can also mention, like, you need to uh, check for the compatibility, where you can run with hyphen u, and once the command is successful, we'll see the status of it. So currently, there are no compilation issues or build issues. We are good. What we will be doing is we'll be creating three classes. One is a configuration, second one is a service, and along with the main class that was already existing. And later we'll create a controller as well, so that we can expose that as a endpoints, so that that can be consumed. So let's get started. So I'm going to create a class called as uh, S3 config, S3 config, and you can see, like, the package is also being created accordingly. And what I'll be using is the annotation as SFL4 for logging, SFL4 jar. And also what I will be interested is to create a bean, which is going to be with a bean that I'm going to create. For that, I have used the bean annotation, and also what I'm trying to create is a method which is public type, and where I call this as an Amazon S3, because I want to create a client for S3. So I'll say as an, yeah, S3, and this particular method, I'm expecting it to return Amazon client builder. Let me import this first, and Amazon client S3, where I'm going to say, like, this is going to be my builder, Amazon client builder, where I'm going to get it as a standard builder. And the reason that I'm interested is because, as in the theory session, what we have seen is it is going to be specific for a particular region. I'm interested in East EU, which points to the London region. So I want to build my client for that. So once this is done, this is the only code change that we want in order to make our S3 configuration up. So once this is being complete, then what we will be interested is to write a service class in the same package where we'll say as I would have created this package as dot configuration, so it can be easily be understood that this is a configuration package, and I can just say as move to this package, so that these things are being moved to set, or I can just say as a rename it. So we have moved that to the configuration package, and now what we will be doing is we'll be creating one more class as a S3 service, mm, new class, where I'll be saying as it's a service class, S3 service, and inside this we will also be saying as a service package, where we will be saying this service name, and what we'll be doing is we'll be interested to save this, and then possibly uh, we, we 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 will write the code where we'll say as a move, and then we'll say as a service package, so that it moves to the service package. And now we will be, because it's a service class, the first annotation that we will be interested is to make this as service uh, so- service. And what we are going to do is inside this service class, whatever the configuration that we have created earlier, for Amazon S3, we are going to make that as an S3 over here, where I'm going to inject that dependency using auto wiring. Uh, and also with this, what we will be doing is we will be writing couple of methods where we can create a bucket and list all the buckets, remove the buckets, and also upload the files, delete the files, and download the files. So we'll start our first method, because all the methods are to be public methods, and the first one is going to be a type of a bucket, because over here I'm interested to create a bucket. And in order to create a bucket, all we need to have the input as a bucket name. So once the bucket name is uh, present, what we will be doing is we ideally has to return this bucket that is being formed, where we'll be saying as initially we'll be saying as s3 dot create bucket, where we'll be taking as a bucket name whatever the name that we have, we'll be doing it. But there is a, if we think practically, the bucket name is already existing, then what it should do is it should filter the existing bucket name, and if it is existing, it should get me the bucket name, else it has to create it. So let's update our logic in order to do the same thing. S3 dot we are trying to find all the buckets, and we are trying to stream it. Inside the stream, what we are trying to say is let's filter this for each and every logic. What I'm going to use the lambda functions over here. I'm trying to get the name of each and every bucket, and it is if it is same as the name that I have inside my bucket, then what I am interested is to like find the first one, or else what I'm going to do is I'm going to create in or else a get method. I'm going to create uh, create a bucket, and again I'm going to use like uh, 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 lambda expression over here where I'm going to say is I'm going to create my S3 with this particular name. So the logic is very simple. I am listing all my buckets, and if my bucket name is already there, I'm going to return it. If not, I'm going to create a new bucket with the supplied name. So the next one is to again is to create my a public method which can help me to list all the buckets. So list all the buckets. So I can say like list S3 buckets as a method name. And for this I'm not interested to take any values. I'm not even taking the region because all these things are specific to my particular region. So I have just imported the package list from java.util, and all I'm trying to say is I'm going to return my s3.list list of buckets. Maybe I can see like this is a duplicate code where I can reuse this method. In that way we can always see like if the code is going to be reused, we can use that. So what I will be doing is I'll be copying this method, and I'll just say as list me my buckets, and once it lists, it go to stream, and the rest of the logic is same. So we are done with the two methods. Now we are interested in like deleting the bucket. And again, as we have seen in the UI, when you are trying to delete the bucket, if it is an empty, then you would be able to delete it. So we have to write the logic in the same way. Again, it is a public method, and because it will not give you any details once it is been deleted. Remove S3 bucket. This is the name of the method, and again it takes the bucket name. So bucket name as a parameter or a input for a given bucket name. What I'm trying to do is again I'm going to do the all the buckets for which I'm trying to say is uh, ideally I'll be using, instead of list buckets, I'll be using my list objects method, where I'll be taking like input as a bucket name over here. And for a given bucket name, what I'm interested is to check like how many object summaries are being present. These object summaries will help me to identify if there is any data or not. How I will be using is, again I'll be using streams, and I'll be filtering. If I have no values of it, then I'll be saying like if object is not going to be a null, in order to avoid the null pointers, I'm trying to check it. What I'm actually interested is for each object, if there are any objects, what I'm trying to do is for each object that I get, I want to delete the data first and then purge it next. So in order to delete it, I'm trying to use like a delete object method. That will help me to delete it. Delete object takes two parameters. One is a bucket name, and another is the key of the object. So already we have the bucket name, and in order to get the key, I'm getting the key from each file. Each file will have a key, or each entity that I'm going to pass will have a key. And finally, once it is being deleted, this is I'm trying to delete each file if it is existing. Then finally, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to delete my bucket itself with my bucket name. So it's basically on the database. You can think as a primary table and foreign table, or parent table and child table. You can only delete the parent record if the associated child records are going to be deleted. In the same way, we are trying to delete if there are any child records, we are trying to delete all the child records, and then we are going to delete the parent record. It's just an analogy that you can think in terms of this particular code that I have written. And the next code of line that we are interested is, we are done with the buckets. Now what we are interested is in terms of uploading the data and downloading the data, and also deleting the data. So again, like over here we can write like three public methods. Um, and in terms of uploading a file, I can just say like upload a file, where I'm interested in passing like three parameters. The three parameters are, first one is a bucket name, and just before the method we have spoke about the keys. The keys can help us in uniquely creating the data in a bucket, and hence we'll be using like bucket name, key, and file in terms of updating the data. So the first parameter that we are trying to use is the bucket name, and the second parameter, as I mentioned, it is going to be a key, small key, and third parameter is the file itself. So once we have all these parameters, we we can use couple of exceptional handlings over here, because when we are trying to deal with the file, we might get exceptions. So also I'm going to import this package file. I'll come to the exceptional handling little later, once I write the draft logic, how it is going to be performed. So for my S3 client, what I'm trying to do is basically, so for the S3, we have another method called as a put object, where it basically takes like a file name, key, and bucket name. So because we have all those three parameters, we are going to use it. And if you want to use different values, for example, if you have decided to use, because we I have already discussed on keys. Now what I'll be interested is to show this without a keys, how we can do this without a keys. So if I have like a bucket name and a file, and let us say I have a file name and the file path, which I can say again, like file name is a string, like I'll take this three as a parameters instead of file. I'll just say as a string file name and string uh, file path. So what I'll be interested is, from this, how I'll be using to upload or put the values is, I'll pass my file name, uh, and also from the new file object, what I can create is, because I have a file path, I'm going to pass it, so that will take my file details. In that way, even in this method, I'll be able to update the data, one extra bracket. And this method is very easy to understand. So all you have is a file details and the bucket, all you are trying to say as an upload. Likewise, if I want to list all my files for a given bucket, I can also do that by writing like public, where I'm going to use like a list of uh, details, which is going to be taking my file names. So where for a given bucket, so I'm going to pass it as my bucket name again over here, bucket name. And uh, what I will be, I mean, this is a little tricky method, because we are going to take like a list of objects, uh, which is currently available in version 2 of it, and then we are trying to convert that, and then we are going to be displaying those results. So what we will be doing is, in order to display the uh, list objects list objects, uh, we have like version 2 of it, which is going to take like a bucket name. And what I will also be doing is, I'll initialize this as an object to result as well. So I'll copy this, and I'll just say that it is going to be my list object to be objects v2 result. So I'll just make this as a result. So, and what I'll be doing is, I'm going to import this, and once I import that, what I'll be interested is again like, I'm going to make a list of all the files. Before that, I'm going to make a string list of the files, so that I'm going to initialize this to new array elements. It's a little slow in my machine, you have to bear with me. Array lists. So what I will be doing is, I'll be iterating it. So instead of streams, I'm using like a old school method, where I'm going to take my details of my result. So what I would be doing is, once for each value of my results, which is going to get my object summaries. All I'm interested is in get object summaries. Get object summaries. So for because I have not imported it, didn't haven't come, I'll just import it. Else we need not type, we can directly say what and this object summaries is a class. There is a class called object summary. So what we are going to say, like each object we are going to get is type of object summary. And for this summary, instead of double M, I have typed as a uh, summary. So within this block, what I'm interested is, because I have my data, and I want to list each value. I want to add my files, whatever the files that I got. I want to add this details, so that I get my keys out of it. So once I get my keys, all I'm interested is to return this my file details. So this will help me to get all my files. And then the last method that we are interested is to delete it. And also we are interested is in also to download the files. So we'll go with the delete and then download. So again, like when we delete it, earlier we have made it as a void for the container. In case if you want to know like what is a file is being deleted, before you make it as a void method, you can also make it as a string method and return the file name that is being passed as like one of the parameters, along with the when you're trying to delete a file, what you will be saying as for a given bucket name. You will also be mentioning bucket name, bucket bucket name, and you will also be mentioning what is the file name associated to it. So over here, what I'm going to say is s3 dot delete object, where it is going to take my bucket name and file name. And also what I'm going to say is, instead of saying as a generally delete method should be avoided. If you are interested to get the file names, what you can say as it's been removed. You can just say as removed successfully. Uh, so that this can be returned along with the file name when the delete operation has happened. And the other method that we are interested is to download the data onto our local machine. So public, again, it is an optional for you where you can make it as a void, or also just like delete, you can say like what is the file that is being downloaded, when you pass the parameters as a string bucket name for a given bucket name, and the uh, file name that we are interested to download, and also the path that we are interested in downloading to. So I have just mentioned as a download path. uh, so and for this, what is the concept of downloading is, we need to identify the file, and then we have to convert that as a stream, and then we have to download. The copying of data as a stream and downloading it is already existing in Apache Common Util. So that is the reason I have used that particular package already. And over here I'm going to create an object of s3, and we already have a client of s3. What we are trying to say is, we are interested in getting the file, or getting the object, where we are saying like we have a bucket name for a given bucket name, and the file name that we have. We are interested in getting the s3 object, and once we get the s3 object, all we are trying to convert that object to a stream. So we will say as an s3 object stream, uh, s3 object input stream. uh, I can just say as an input stream object, where this is going to be as my object which was being created in the above line. And I'm going to get this object content from the from so that once I import it, so all I can say as a control space, and I get the object content. And if you want, you can also get the object metadata, who has created it, when was it being created, the other metadata information which has spoke as part of the theory part. As I mentioned, I'm going to use my Apache common utils, where I have a method to interact with my file utils. This is the like a class where I have a method called as a copy input stream to a file. I have my stream here, so all I'm trying to copy my input stream, uh, and the location where I want to copy to. So that is the reason I have used my uh, uh, capital file. I have used the details in the pom.xml, which I'll be showing you in a minute. So these are the details. And when you're trying to do this copy functionality, you will end up with the exceptions. So because I have already I'm having the lambok, what I will be doing is I'll be handling this with the lambok exception sneaky thing. So all I can click on this, and then I can say like either I can go with the try catch or I can go with the annotations. So I prefer it to be sneaky through. So that this is now being properly handled. And as part of a demo, as I said, this is going to be a lengthy video. So what I'll be doing is I'll create a service in the next video. I'll expose this as an endpoint, and I'll also cover the testing associated to it. For now, what I will be doing is I'll use this demo application, and then I'll create an object of a service, and I'll invoke those details over there. So now we have this value as an S3 service. So I'll go to the application, and I'll create a private final object of my S3 service, and I'll say as 3 service and attribute. And using the constructor injection, what I will be doing is I'll be injecting these things. For that, you can write it, or you can go to the code, and you can say like like inject constructor, and you can say as a constructor, and that will help you to write the code with the selected argument or attribute. So what we will be interested is we will be interested for this particular service, we will be interested in creating the buckets, where I'll be saying as a string bucket name, uh, bucket name will say we will say as you know S3 demo is one. So this is the bucket name that we are interested in creating. And what we will be interested is to create this bucket. Uh, so uh, what I will be doing is, instead of typing, I'm just copy pasting the code. Copy all I need to invoke. All I need to invoke is the methods. Those are already there in my service class. So the methods that are present in my service class is, the first one is to create a bucket, where I'm interested in passing the bucket name. So this will create the bucket, and also I'm interested in creating the file path and file name. Uh, file File path, where I'll be copying my file path, and I'll be helping you with that. And also I'm interested in my file name, which I'll also be copying from my desktop. Currently, I'm setting this as a placeholders. And now what we are interested in is a couple of things, like uploading a file to S3. Mhm. And we are interested in download the file, download the file. And we are also interested in list files in S3. And we are also interested in the other functionalities, as let us say like removing the S3 that we have created. So let's uh, do one by one over here. So because we have all these things, S3 dot We can just say as s3 dot services, or we can just say as this dot s3 dot service. It is going to be the same thing. So for I will be using as s3 dot service, as it is one and the same. So s3 dot service, and because we are using like upload functionality, upload file, all we need to pass is a bucket name, which we have bucket name, and the second parameter is the file name, that we have, and the third parameter is the file path, which we also have, that will upload the file. And if you want, we can also have a message saying like the file is been successfully updated. File is successfully uploaded. Uh, and now we have a method to download it, and download, again I say like s3 dot service dot download. Again, this takes like three parameters. We have to define the download path, string. I'm going to give a different path than upload, so I'll just say as a download path, which I'll just mention it as again as a placeholder. So what we'll be doing is we'll be passing these parameters as a bucket name, file name, and then download path. That will download the file. Again, if you want, we can have this statement saying like download is successful, instead of file successfully uploaded. We will be saying like downloaded. And then what we are interested is in listing all the files. For now I'll be using like services, saying as a list, where it is going to take like a string of files, file objects, where I'll be saying as S3 services dot, and to list the files we have like a file list for a given bucket. So it takes the bucket name, and what we will be doing is we will be uh, printing it in the for loop. We can also use the streams. For now I'll be using like for loops for all the files that we get. We are interested in to print this file names. So again, it is from the Java util method where I'm going to import it. And then finally, the method that I can say is listing all the buckets. uh, Before this removal, what I can also do is, because I have a list of it, uh, s3 services dot list buckets. We have covered list files. Now we are covering the list buckets, and instead of the traditional loop, if you use the streams, it is going to be easy, where you need not type entire code. Sys.out, where you can use like a println statement. This will publish all my associated buckets. So it's better I create one more bucket, so that we can see the bucket name. I'm going to again copy the existing method, where I'm going to say like this piece of line. I'm going to copy it before I publish it over here. Bucket name, uh, and then I'm going to say bucket name equal to, okay, I'll just override it here. Bucket name, S3 demo vis 2 bucket name. Okay. So that's a very lengthy name. The maximum length that you can give is 64 characters, else you will face an exception. So this is the one I wanted to give. And again, like S3 services, we want to also test like remove of S3 with the bucket name, which has a file, and the other one what we are trying to do is S3 without a file name dot remove. The second bucket that we have created will not have any files, so in both the cases it should work seamlessly in the same way, whether we have files or not. If it has files, it should delete the files, because that's what our program is all about. So it should delete the files. So what we will be doing is, because we have written a agnostic list. Now we will be testing all those changes. So, and before we test it, I'll go back to my desktop, and on my desktop, what I'm interested is to get this file details. So, um, I, all I'm trying to say is properties, and I'm trying to take this file details. So this is my location, the file where it is being located, copied it, and again going back to my code. So we have the placeholders. So one of the placeholders is the file path. So when you mention the file path, the thing that needs to be noted is, we have to also mention like the name of the file, uh, which is, again, I'm going to desktop, uh, where I'm going to go to the properties and copy this as well. And again, I'm going back to my IDE, and then I'm going to mention my file name over there, .tst. So I'm going to copy this, and then over here I'm going to say my details over here. So and likewise, if I'm interested in taking a path of download, for downloads, I want it to be in a different directory. I'll just copy this, or I can just say like download it. You can see like I'm giving a different forward slashes and backward slashes altogether. So when I give this path, it will sit onto the whichever the directory that this program is going to be execute. If the file folder is not existing, then it will create that directory to files. So this is the this is the one that I am interested in mentioning the path for downloading this details. And also I'll mention like what is my file that need to be downloaded. Then I can also provide the file name. Probably I'll mention as a downloaded file.test. So this is what I have mentioned as. And what I will be doing is, I'll just minimize this a bit. I'll try to bring uh, this thing before running this program. All we have to also ensure that the access is being provided, which means we have to log on to the Amazon SW3. And what we have to do is, we have to create a request, access management request, um, and we have to take the that details onto the IDE, so that we can create a one. In order to do that, what you have to do is, you have to click on, you have to look for, in the search bar, you can look for IAM. If you have already created this as a favorite, you can directly navigate to that favorite. So you can click on IAM, and once you click on it, the system will navigate you to the identity and access management console. Uh, or or the other way of navigating is you can, on the right hand top side, you can click on this security credentials. That will land you to the security credentials page where we have to create a new access management details. So once you click on it, for this demonstration we are going to create a new access keys. In order to create a new access keys, all we have to go to the access keys section and click on create access keys, and check this box and click on create access keys. You can also download this for future references. For now I'll be creating my access keys. I mean, I'll be copying the access key that was being created, and I'll be open because I have already connected to AWS profile or configuration. What I will be doing is I'll be replacing this details, whatever I have seen from the console. Likewise, I'll also be copying the access key, and I'll be marking this as a done. And once this step is complete, all I'll be saving this file by clicking save, and also I will click on S3 so that we will see what are the details are present on the S3. And I'll currently you see that there are no buckets are available on this S3. Now what I will be interested is to run the program, so that you can see once the program is run, I'm also setting like annotations to be enabled for this particular application. And you can see if the program is successful. You can see it in the logs, and as well as on the S3 buckets. And but by the way, because we have written this delete, uh, though those buckets will be immediately deleted. Yeah, we forgot to add annotation at over here, which is the configuration annotation. That was my mistake. So that is the reason we got this. So configuration. So let's save this and then run the demo once again. So generally we get this kind of exceptions when the components are on a different package. In order to fix it, the simplest thing that what we can do is we can do with component scan, where we can say to scan the base package. So all I'm trying to use that annotation, and also I'm going to mention what is my base package for that, which is com dot com.wiz. So this is the one that I'm interested in. So for this particular one, what I'm also interested is to show you the folder where currently it does not have any downloads. As soon as I execute this run, it is going to create a folder called as downloads, and it will also create a file that we have downloaded it, and also on the S3 bucket, we will also be able to see the details. If the buckets are going to be created, then it is going to display it and also going to delete it. So effectively you will not see any buckets because we have implemented both like create and delete logic, but over here we are going to see a folder the moment I say as a refresh. So it is just created. um, so you can see like this is a path that we have mentioned, like it has to be created. So what we will do is we'll again like it is 1951. Now we will again like delete this drive, and also what we will do is we will stop removing this so that we can see it on the S3 as well. So, and also we can see like the files are being downloaded, uploaded, what is the file it is being created, and what is the details that is being created in set of for loops. Yeah. So let's yeah, the files are successfully downloaded. So let's refresh. Yeah, within a minute, like it has run. Now, if we click on like buckets, we should be able to see those two, demonstrations. What we have created over here. So we programmatically we have seen like the first one has one file, and the second one it has nothing else. So and we have programmatically created the S3 bucket, and in the next demo what we will do is we'll enhance this application and we'll expose this as an endpoints, and we'll also cover the test cases. Thanks for watching. I'll soon be uploading the source code onto the GitHub, and also I'll be uploading the details on to the description of this email. Thank you very much. I'll meet you soon in the next video.